All right, so why am I so excited about this? Because I'm a comedy nerd as well. Mike Myers, whatever you want to call him, not the serial killer, fictitious creation of John Carpenter, but the comedic actor. He did a movie years and years ago in the 90s called So I Married an Axe Murderer. Hello, Big Show nerds. We are back for another episode of the Nerd News Headlines. I, as always, am Dustin, bringing you said headlines. Just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button for those of you that have not done so already. Do the things. Let us know you like what's going on right here on the channel. And also a reminder that we are being partially brought to you by Regal Cinemas, Cineworld, specifically our local Regal Cinema, where we do all of our movie reviews, the Colorado Cinema Center with the IMAX, the largest IMAX in the state. Colorado Center 9, there's 9 theaters. It's a great place. It is open. We are doing things there very soon. And yeah, that's all of the real quickie bits. Let's hit the intro. Now let's talk TV streaming. TV streaming is short. We only have a bunch of follow-ups, and then there is one, I guess that's technically movies. It's kind of both TV. We'll get there. Whatever. So let's get the follow-ups first. First up in follow-ups, we did finally get to see Jensen Ackles in his outfit, I guess, the getup for Soldier Boy for The Boys Season 3, and it looks a little Captain America-y, I'm not going to lie, but they apparently put weeks and weeks worth of time, Jensen and the set designer, the costume designer on the set of Boys 3 put in a few weeks of time designing this so that Jensen was happy with it, so that it was paid proper homage to the source material and also was updated for the general look of the rest of the show. So it looks pretty great. I can't wait for season 3. We got to move on, though, because this is just the follow-up. We did see some new stuff about Cowboy Bebop over on Netflix. The live-action series has released some teaser images that show us what Spike is going to look like. What's his name? Brian Cho. I'm a dumbass for not putting it in the notes because I take great notes. But yeah, we have some images that they have officially released, and it looks like they're taking it seriously. Now, this is Netflix we're talking about, so don't hold your breath, but so far so good. We're moving on. Also, for Cowboy Bebop, we did get a release time frame. We didn't get a proper release date, but we did get the approximate time. It's going to be fall of this year. So moving to our next piece, we also have another announcement of release for Locke and Key Season 2. Season 2, also going to be sometime in the fall, presumably right around the same time as Cowboy Bebop. All right, so our last piece of follow-up news has to do with the Batwoman series that is still just floundering over on the CW. They are really trying to get the ratings up, guys. And this one might do the trick because so far Javicia Alessi is doing a fair job with what she's been given as Batwoman. We now know why she took over and why, all of that nonsense. But now we are finally getting to see Luke Fox as Batwing. The actor, Cameron Johnson, it has been in the show since, I think, like the first episode even. And this is going to be the first time, though, that we see him suited up as Batwing. So that's pretty freaking awesome. And there was a cameo from the actual Batman, if I'm reading the headlines correctly. Cameo from the actual Batman in one of the more recent episodes, or it's in the next episode. I don't remember because it's not in the notes, because that's not what we're talking about. So again, they're just really trying to get the fans to watch the show because nobody else is. So that is all we have for follow-ups and corrections. And then we do have one really awesome, I can't believe I missed it until this round of research announcement. A new show is coming. It's coming to Netflix, which is weird. Why would Netflix pick up something this obscure? Is whatever. It's called, now I'm gonna build the suspense here real quick because this is so awesome. It's called the Pentaverate. That's right, the Pentaverate. All right, so why am I so excited about this? Because I'm a comedy nerd as well. Mike Myers, whatever you want to call him, not the serial killer, fictitious creation of John Carpenter, but the comedic actor. He did a movie years and years ago in the 90s called So I Married an Axe Murderer. And that was the only other time that this has been referenced, is a line, a throwaway gag that is hilarious, spoken by Mike Myers' character's father, who was also played by Mike Myers. It's about, so based off of that, like I read the article, but like, you know, if you've seen that movie, you already know what this is about. It's about the 5 families that control the world. We got some casting as well. I will link down to the full cast down in the show notes, video description, whatever. But the big ones from this are Keegan Michael Key and Jeong are going to be in this series, as well as Mike Myers playing 7, count them, 7 different roles in this series. That is awesome. I cannot wait for this to happen. No release date, no release window or anything yet. Obviously, they just finished casting, so no reason for them to have made that announcement yet. But we will definitely be keeping tabs on this one. And that is the TV streaming section, nerds. Movies is even shorter. I don't know what, it's a slow news week, guys, because we're not, like I said, I do the big things. We're not talking about the little, oh, this episode and that episode and la 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 la. We're talking about the big things, and Christine is a big thing. So Bryan Fuller, who was the Hannibal, the series creator for Hannibal, has been brought in. This is technically a follow-up because we talked about this before, but is being brought in to write and direct the reboot of the Stephen King movie that was originally done by John Carpenter, which is kind of, those are some big shoes. You've got Stephen King, who wrote the book, John Carpenter, who did the original movie in the 80s, Bryan Fuller, who did Hannibal, which was great. He still has, that's a pretty large shadow to get out from. So we will, as things progress, we will definitely still be keeping tabs on this, but this is all we have for the movie section. And now, apparently, this is another rumor-centric episode, even though, generally speaking, that's not what the first episode of the week is going to be anymore. But, I mean, when all you have are decent rumors, that's all you have. And we actually don't even have that many of those. We do have a couple of confirmations, one confirmation, technically, and one refutation, but both of them I called. So, the first one is one that I was a little bit more skeptical about, and it is the Rob Zombie Munsters rumor. Has been confirmed by Zombie himself. Yes, as a matter of fact, he is doing a movie reboot of the Munsters. Oh, I hope he doesn't take it too seriously. Let's put it that way. I feel like that is an appropriate way for somebody like Rob Zombie to approach a project like the Munsters, because yeah, the family on Mockingbird Lane just should not be overly dark and should not all be a bunch of jerks. All right, Rob, let's go there. It can be funny. It can be dark because, I mean, you're dealing with dark things, but let's just rein in some of the over the top darkness and the ridiculous. It's going to be serious. We can see that one coming a mile away. I hope not, but I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway, I'm rambling now. So the other piece is one that I called in just the last episode, and it has to do with Wedding Crashers 2. Owen Wilson just recently did an interview with comicbook.com where they asked him outright about going into production for Wedding Crashers 2 within the next month. Owen has said that yes, conversations are still happening. So the project is, like I said, the project is somewhere in early development. As far as it being a thing, within the next 6 months, which, you know, the rumor that we talked about in the last episode was that they're going into production next week. That's not what's up. Eventually it will get to the scripting stage once everyone has officially signed on and done the thing. But right now, according to Owen Wilson, yes, it is happening. It's just very, very, very early in the process. So I called it. All right. So our actual rumors for this episode, we are going to start first with The Flash. This one's very interesting because this one stems from some social political nonsense, in that Gal Gadot posted some things on her Twitter that Warner Brothers was not super pleased with. Warner Brothers asked her to take those things down from her Twitter, and she refused. And now we're hearing rumors that she's not going to be in The Flash. Wonder Woman is still going to be in The Flash, but she is not. Now, this is not to say that she will not be in the third Wonder Woman movie. This is to say, though, that because The Flash is dealing with the multiverse, they're going to use a multiversal Wonder Woman for their purposes and not the Gal Gadot mainline DC Wonder Woman for the show. Likelihood for this rumor, because it does come that there was like verifiably those things happened on her Twitter account. We know this happened. We know that DC is not one to want to rock the boat, especially when Marvel is doing such a great job of that on their own. They're going to try and distance themselves from such things. So that's where the rumor begins, because we cannot verify that Warner Brothers or DC specifically has asked Gal to take those things off of her Twitter. So there is where the rumor starts. And then the rumor continues on into, because she didn't, they're not going to use her for the next movie. Likelihood for this is fairly strong, I feel like, because of the route of that we can verify. So we're going to put this right about 65. I'm going to actually bump it up a little bit. We're going to go 70% likelihood, viability, whatever, for this rumor, because that is hot button issues right now that you're playing with. So I feel like there is a lot to go on there. Our next piece of rumor has to do with the Moon Knight movie. This one is kind of actually a persistent rumor, just with a different face. So the Netflix series of Marvel shows were great. Everybody loved them. And then unceremoniously, Marvel said, no, you're not going to do that anymore. We want those characters to default back to us eventually. So we are past the point of default. And now a new rumor has sprung up saying that John Berenthal's Punisher is going to find his way into the Moon Knight series with Oscar Isaac. And this one seems like such a stretch. I don't think that Moon Knight is going to be the way that they introduce any of the Netflix characters, because Moon Knight is a new character to the MCU. It seems to me that unless it's an post-credit stinger, which is still theoretically possible, unless it's something like that, mid-credit, end-credit, whatever, this is super unlikely to happen, because they have to establish one character. They're going to have enough of a rough time with the Eternals. And I feel like that movie stands a definite chance of falling flat on its face. So, and they should know that, judging by the fan reaction of that first trailer. So I don't think they're going to take that big of a gamble a second time. So that's why this doesn't hold true to me. So viability for this rumor, John Berenthal in the Moon Knight, beyond just some sort of cameo or post-credit stinger, we're 20%, and I feel like that's even generous. Our next and final rumor is one that I'm super excited about, and this is also kind of something we addressed in the previous episode as well. Netflix, the series Mindhunter is in the rumor mill, specifically because there is a rumor that David Fincher is working out the details of his contract coming back for season 3, because David Fincher is the showrunner for the show, meaning he has to be the first one to come back, and then they have to try and get everyone else. If they can't get everyone else, then, you work around it, recast, write somebody out, so on and so forth. So I want this to be a thing. David Fincher is my cinematic idol, much like David Chang is one of my idols for food. Fincher is that for movies, man. Like, he is a genius behind the camera. If you haven't watched the first 2 seasons of Mindhunter, oh, you really, really, really must. It is definitely a different kind of nerddom for sure, but it is worth a watch, even if you're just a cinematography nerd. The very first season, cinematography nerds, you will nerd out over that first season. Anyway, back to the rumor. Sorry, I'm freaking out here, man. So the viability for this rumor, this is not really that much of a well-kept secret. Fincher has said that he very likely will return to this subject matter. The only reason they let the actors out of their contracts was because Fincher was doing a different project for Netflix. That project has come to an end. It's the Love and Robots series, season 2 for that. So now that project has come to an end, it only makes sense that he's going to revisit this other project that is not completed. And again, remember, we brought this up in the previous episode about Jupiter's Legacy. Oh, it's canceled. No, they're taking a break. I feel like Netflix is trying something new here. Netflix is trying to give those series a little bit more time to breathe, because they release them all at once. They want us to get to have more time to speculate, something along those lines. I can't imagine that they're just abandoning these super popular series after 2 seasons, or a single season in the case of Jupiter's Legacy. So, yes, I'm honestly not just because I want it, but that is definitely factoring into this. The viability for Fincher working out details for a new contract for a 3rd season of Mindhunter, I feel like is very strong. We're putting this at 80% viability. I would not be surprised if Netflix made an announcement about 4 to 6 months' time from now that Mindhunter is getting a 3rd season. That will not surprise me in the slightest. If it takes longer than 6 months, then I'll be surprised. If it never happens, then I'll definitely be surprised. But yeah, we're looking at about 80% viability for the Mindhunter season 3, somewhere in the super early stages. And that is the end of the rumor mill, nerds. And that does it for this episode of Headlines, nerds. For more in-depth conversation on the nerd news, or just to do other generally nerdy things with me, then you can join me on my personal YouTube channel, Generally Nerdy. While you're here, though, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on all of the Big Show Entertainment media platforms. Tune in next week for all that is happening across the nerd world.